All right, there we go, mate. There we go, mate. We got a video for you today. So, I've been running some mystery method on a dating app, and here's my opinion on it. It's still extremely fucking effective. It's so funny. I watched this video. Someone's like, "It's outdated." It's not outdated, dude. It's not fucking outdated. It might not be the best method in your opinion, but let's be honest, it's not outdated. Don't fucking like clickbait people. You know what I'm saying? It still fucking works. Has it evolved? Yeah, sure. But can you still use the exact same way it was made like over 20 years ago? Yeah, sure can. So I wanted to make a video about my experience with using it and how it goes against who I am and really what I'm doing about it. So got some notes here. So this is really good. Okay. Your opener. It can be a question, it can be a statement, even once you're in the set, right? You can make statements about the girl. And I'm I am doing that and I'm realizing my anxiety. I have anxiety making statements rather than asking questions, at least from a performative perspective. Now, when I'm in my like when I'm grounded and I make statements, I don't have anxiety about it. But there's this performative aspect to it because I'm using a method that's not my authenticity. So it adds this performative layer, which I hate, but it's showing me where I can evolve. And I'll tell you how. One, if me making a statement instead of asking a question makes me anxious, why does it make me anxious? And the answer to that is because I feel like I'm not allowing the woman an easier opportunity to continue the conversation when I make a statement compared to when I make a question. And where that's coming from is from a lack of, okay? Because what I'm realizing is basically putting the book into AI and then having it analyze the conversation I'm having and how in alignment it is with the mystery method. So it's kind of like bumpers for like running game. Now, I think a really stupid way to use AI for this is basically to just have it tell you what to say because you don't learn that way. At least I don't learn that way, which is why school wasn't like the best for me. People were just talking at me. They weren't having me talk at them to see what I do and don't understand. I like Socratic. That's the best way for me to learn. And I understand that other people's brains can learn from people telling them things. So I don't agree with that. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree. And the only way to learn is Socratically. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think while other people can learn that way, and I have a hard time learning that way, I think we both learn better when it's done Socratically. So what I'll do is I'll have the AI Socratically lead me to the conclusion. So that way I'm getting there on my own rather than the AI doing the work for me. And then wherever, because basically the whole point of teaching Socratically, at least in my opinion, is to get someone to understand something so they can produce an outcome, produce an understanding. Because when you have an understanding, you'll produce the outcome. Anytime you're not producing the outcome, I need the AI to understand where I'm not understanding and then go Socratically deep with me there so that I can fill in an understanding so that I can get closer to producing the outcome and then just repeat this process until I'm basically mystery, right? That's a great way to learn. That's how I learn using AI, by the way. So, um, it's also how I teach sales training, not with AI, but Socratically. So I was like, damn, I'm getting anxious. Like, why am I getting anxious? And it's like, because I feel like I'm not giving her an easier opportunity to respond. And it's like, well, why do I feel like I need to give her an easier opportunity? And I'm like, because I feel like she's not going to partake in the conversation. And I'm like, well, why is the thought of her not partaking in the conversation giving me anxiety? And it's like, oh, because I'm going to lose this girl that I'm interested in. Which leads me back to really the whole point of this video which is the holes in my evolution that running manufactured game is showing me. Because what I'm realizing is you have like RSD, right? So Owen Cook, who does like inner game stuff. And then you have Todd, I forgot his last name. I don't know if it's Valentine or whatever it is, who does outer game stuff. I didn't realize this until today, until after watching this video. I am a big inner game guy, right? I was teaching sales training today, and I was teaching this student, and he goes, well, what type of question should I ask? And I said, if I give you the question, what have you learned? You've learned nothing. You haven't learned how to sell. So, how can I Socratically ask you questions to fill in the lack of understanding that you have that is not allowing your brain to understand what type of question to ask and what that would actually sound like? Let's focus on that. Because as long as I give you the soil, you'll be able to sprout your own plants from it. But if I give you a plant, you can't reverse engineer yourself from the plant back to the soil to understand the principle and philosophy that I'm trying to convey to you that will lead you to the understanding that will allow you to produce your own plants, aka your own questions. I believe the same thing with game, where I don't want to be taught, say this, because I haven't learned anything. Why would you say that, right? And in because then it basically all goes back to your inner game, which to me is not performative, which is very sustainable game to me, right? I don't like running canned game, right? Scripted game. It works. It's very effective. I'm not. If that's for you, if you're an outer game guy, do that, right? Mystery's really good at that. Todd's really good at that. I think his name's Todd Valentine. But if you're like an inner game guy where you don't want to sit here and focus on what to say and how to say, like it's performative. I hate it. It makes me suicidal big time. I want to focus on just being someone, and I can just be myself. If I become this person, I will run that same game. The same game that the scripted guy is running, I will run it if I just evolve enough internally. Okay. So basically, the first problem, which is wanting to end on a question, because making statements make me anxious because I feel like I'm going to lose the girl because I'm interested in her and I want to make it easy for her. AKA, I want her validation. I want her to play the game with me. And that showed me, right? Because I'm doing this, even though it kind of goes against like my whole philosophy. I'm actually using it. And it's actually showing me the holes in my evolution, which is, damn, I want her I want her to stay in this conversation because I want to be validated, right? That this beautiful girl is talking to me, so I'm going to feel a certain type of way. And that to me is not allowing me to run the best game I could possibly run. A better game is a more free game, which is basically I'm okay if she doesn't respond because then how I speak to her will be so magnetic and she'll be so attracted to it that it's just like, and I'll be free, which is crazy, like double win, right? So what I'm realizing is that the best scripted game is just someone who's has an inner game where they're so detached from the outcome of her responding or not. They don't need her validation. They are free. Like Peter Crone, free. Like I think Peter Crone would run insane game because he doesn't care. He does not care, right? He's not using this script of this line to get a response from you. He is being him. And if you align, you align. And this is why I actually think pickup guys are great at acquiring girls, but not sustaining and keeping girls, right? Like very high acquisition rate, very successful at acquiring, but in terms of keeping, sustaining, and like reoccurring and renewals, right? In terms of the business language, I don't know. I don't think it's, because look, how exhausting does this sound? You go learn and practice all of this game only to get the girl, and now it's like, fuck, I got her. All that shit worked. I gotta keep this act up. What if you're with this chick for 6 months or a year? You're just fucking performing the whole, like, dog, that's exhausting. Like blow my fucking brains out, dude. I just want to be me. So that's the first point. The second thing that I realized was I'm actually negging way too hard. I love neg heavy game. Like, I love it. But you can't run neg heavy game on chicks that are not like bombshells. Like, if they are just not a bombshell, you can't just neg, 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 neg. You're gonna ruin the girl's self-esteem, and she's gonna bow out of the conversation. And then you have to if you want to run neg heavy game, it has to be on a girl who's a bombshell, but also knows she's a bombshell. Because if she's a bombshell and she doesn't know it, and her self-esteem might not be there, you're again gonna lose the girl. So I love running neg heavy. Like, I love teasing and bantering, and like, oh, that shit is just so amazing to me. Okay. Um, but here's the thing. Here's another thing that I realized. Speaking to this bombshell girl right now, but realized that she might have some like anxious attachment, and she might view herself in a lower regard. And I negged her too hard. Um, and I was wondering if she took my communication the right way. You see, I'm concerned if she took my communication the right way. So so I run this performative game, but then my internal state doesn't align with my external state. Because now I'm getting anxious that she hasn't responded, because I'm like, fuck, I think I ruined that one, because she was showing a lot of interest, and I was rewarding it, and I was there for it. I was loving it. But then she tested, so then I challenged, and I think she might have taken it the wrong way. But um so yes. So another thing is just both of those two. So wanting to end on a question instead of making a statement, because I'm anxious that they're not going to respond, and be invested, which is funny because it's the opposite. When you make a statement and she responds, you're basically adding friction, right? So Alex Hermosi will talk about like friction inside of acquisition channels, and inside the life cycle of like a client, and where it's appropriate to add it, where it's not appropriate to add it. I think it's very appropriate when you're starting off this set and you're opening an actual set to add friction, because it will indicate her level of interest. If she's willing to go through friction for you, that's a woman you want to have a conversation with, that you want to run game on. If she's not, it's not worth it. Like, and you just saved yourself time. But if you don't ever actually add any friction, you'll never be able to tell their level of desire, their level of interest, right? So which you can always recalibrate later on, but it doesn't. That's how I like running it, at least right now. But and then the second thing is negging too hard and wondering if she took it the wrong way, or if I was too harsh. So I'm anxious about both of those things, which is showing me that I'm attached. Anytime I'm feeling an emotion, at least around that, after the fact, it's showing me my attachment, and it's showing me where I can evolve. Right. So I'm actually loving this, because I never thought I was going to come back to game, because it made me like super suicidal. Like, anything that's performative makes me hella suicidal. But it's funny because I'm still in performative spaces. Like, I'm still in sales, which is extremely performative, if not the most performative industry you could possibly be in. And then gaming women, which is extremely performative again. But it's beautiful because I'm now learning sales from a mentor where it's non-performative. And I've been following this person. By the way, shout out Social Animal, Ruben, runs the most non-performative game ever, because he's not gaming anyone. He's being authentic to himself. So check out his most recent videos, where he just is authentic to everybody. Like, his videos aren't even about approaching like bombshell women. It's just approaching and doing whatever he wants to do. So if he sees this old guy sitting on a park bench and he wants to chat it up because he feels like that guy can teach him something, he's going to go do that. If he sees this beautiful woman in a coffee shop that he wants, a possible romantic relationship with, he's going to approach her. So he's just like being authentic to himself, which is where the book Radical Honesty by Brad Blanton came from. That's who because I got the book actually from a friend, and I was like, whoa, that's so funny. This guy I'm watching recommended it. So I read it. It was amazing. And then I actually went and took coaching from them years ago, which didn't really land for me at the time. But what I love about Ruben with Social Animal is that he's experiential. So I now realize that the best mentors for me are not just theoretical, they're also experiential, right? So like, a therapist who's never really struggled in life is not going to be the best person for me to help me through my struggle, no matter how much theoretical knowledge that they have behind struggle, right? It's just not going to resonate with me, because I won't believe them as much, because I know they haven't been through what I've been through. Whether that's correct or incorrect, it doesn't matter to me. I've just realized after being basically um, therapy resistant my whole life that this is what's best for me. So those two things, and then negging too hard and wondering if she's taking my communication the right way. Again, attachment. So it's basically like like running game again is showing me like this. It's like echolocating me in the realm of psychological relativity, um, where I'm at evolutionary wise, because I'm seeing what great game is. Like I'm like, okay, I could say this, but is that what I would actually say in this moment right here, right now? No. So it's showing me that gap of where I can evolve. And basically, from here to here is showing me the attachment. Because as I unattach, I'll eventually become someone who just runs great game and I don't need scripts and canned routines and, you know, like that just fucking exhausts me. Okay. So to end the video off, um, the same thing with sales, the same thing with game. The problem with tactics is it can take you out of the pain that will allow there to be a catalyst for evolution. So, for example, when I was late teens, early 20s, I was very much suffering. Got into game at around that age, found two of my best friends at the time in Atlanta. We went out and we started gaming. And it was very much say this, say that, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. Like very tactic, surface level based. And it took me out of enough pain of not getting women to not focus on my own evolution. And I think learning tactics really stunts your growth, and really prevents you from ever actually becoming and being the person that you can become that could run that game or that could run that business or that could feel this way around beautiful women or whatever it is that you want to do and feel. Tactic based solutions will prevent your evolution, in my opinion. At least it did for me, because I got girls, which caused a lot of pain because I realized they weren't in love with me. They were in love with the game that I was running, which made me look at them in even a more negative way, made me look at myself in a more negative way. So it like took me 5 steps back, which caused more pain, which then catapulted me really to even more evolution. So just understand that um, if it's taking you out of pain, I wouldn't do it if you're pro evolution. Um, I would just suffer and just approach women and like show my attachment and then do that for years to eventually realize that I have work to do on myself, and then do that work and then reapproach the dating scene and kind of just keep calibrating, right? Go out and approach, see where I'm attached, go do therapy or like observation and right, Jiddu Krishnamurti observation, and then go back in game and then do this and then kind of just evolve, right? Um, so I just wanted to make that video, talk about my experience. But but yeah, hopefully that video was helpful. Hopefully you enjoyed that. And peace.